UNNC Heritage is a local, area-wide historic preservation organization, but the email is mine. And that's my. So given that the email is mine, in other words, I don't have more than one Gmail. So that's how Teresa signed me in originally. But all of the other committee chairs it was supposed to be that each committee chair would launch live streaming themselves.
Yes.
And it just fell by the wayside. So now it's stupid because we're using the organization. All right, anyway, and we have no other participants, so we could.
What's that participant one?
No, that's us.
Okay.
That is us.
I never got Tamala's
Phone.
number. Could you give it to me now?
No, because I only have it on a roster, which is at my desktop computer.
This one.
And I'm sorry, that's why I said, because I won't remember, just email me as soon as you get home. So, yeah, it's all right.
So I think we're on now.
Yes.
So,
and I'm gonna just share the agenda because just in case there's anyone on live,
yeah, and you'll get a window that opens and somebody joins us.
Well, that's not good. I'm supposed to share. And not share the agenda quite yet. Because I guess I have to, where did it all go?
And the computer distracts us.
The computer distracts us because
All these stories now. Yeah.
history
Oh, yeah.
recently closed. Why is that?
Back to UNNC?
I know, but isn't that annoying? Because we all saw that I opened it up. All right, do you want to start the meeting? And I'll share the agenda at some point soon.
Okay. So we're still on, even though
We are on. We're just not.
Sean, it's so nice to see you.
Oh, well, thank you for having us. I'm so glad you're having this committee meeting.
Thank you. And so we are here at the UNNC Environmental Committee meeting. It is the 11th of June. And it's a little bit warm out there, but the weather is lovely. I'm so glad to be joined by Laura and Son, but I'll have them introduce each other. My name is Elizabeth Fenner.
The agenda is up.
The agenda is up for all to see. And let's go to the left.
Hi, I'm Simon Lee. I'm Jefferson Park Region 5 stakeholder and environmental advocate.
Oh, much better. And I'm Laura Myers, and I am on the board of UNNC and live in Angeles Vista. And I'll just remind the three of us for now, when we speak, there's an AI transcript, but it only thinks UNNC president is speaking. So we should identify ourselves over and over again, so that the transcript catches who said what.
Great.
So I do have, again, the agenda and
I want to review it.
yeah, we'll go quickly through it because we have general public comments, and in general public comments are for items not on the agenda. I have taken to, for this committee, when you give me an agenda, adding upcoming climate and environmental events on the, just on the agenda, but I think maybe I should make that agenda item 3, so it's not confusing. And just have going forward, just say upcoming events.
Great. Yeah.
And just make it less confusing. So for general public comments, we're doing the agenda.
Yeah.
Possible neighborhood cleanups is item 3. A brief discussion on what's going to happen with the climate emergency mobilization office. The director, first of all, she and only a few people were transferred from one place
Anyway,
to
we're
another.
gonna cover that.
Okay. And then new business, old business, including the discussion of possible co-chair, probably not having that discussion of an NCSA report, committee report, and other new business or old business, and then we adjourn. So I'm going to stop the share.
Okay, pretty simple, straightforward agenda. Now moving on to general public comment. Who wants to go first?
Okay, well, I'll go back. So general public comment, we're, UNNC is gearing up to participate in Play Day on Saturday, June 27. And that is sponsored by the LA84 Foundation to encourage play. You know, basically most of the funding came from the 1984 Olympics, which was financially very profitable. And how they're spending their money these days is on parks and in disadvantaged communities to get kids into our green spaces and doing recreation. So Play Day is a lot of different entities activating kids' play. So UNNC will have a booth. We are going to talk about the master green plan to the extent any adult is there. But it's mostly about activating for kids. So we're going to do actual coloring, not just giving away coloring books, but coloring and paint. We're going to have a little rain tossy thing. And what's important to know is if you're going to volunteer, we have to know that by the 22nd of June, because we have to order wristbands for each of the volunteers. So they're being very, very organized. So that said, or just register and enter in, but maybe. Okay, so that's that.
Great.
Yeah, that's my.
That's one public comment. So do you have a public comment?
I can make a public comment. I thought the safety meeting last week was really well done. A presentation by Shivani was very informative. We all got our radios and we started thinking about emergency situations, and so I thought that was really good for planning. I also walked through the Debbie Allen event on Washington, and it was like so much fun. There was so much talent on the stage, and I saw the UNNC, table out there. There were a lot of good traffic, a lot of good participation, a lot of families out there. I just thought it was a really good event, and encourage everyone to go next year.
Right. So yeah,
On the back of that, my public comment is that I worked it for 3 hours from 2 to 5.
It was
You guys
hot.
went from 5 to 7.
I was there at 10. I was there again at 1. I was there again sometime in the 2 to 5, and then I did with Caesar 5 to 7. Yes,
Bravo.
But
but I live around the corner, so it was not impossible for me to do that.
my experience of it was that the noise from the generators and the sound and the fumes were so strong and so front dominant that I felt like I had symptoms of hearing loss for days afterwards.
Really?
For days afterwards, I just couldn't hear people.
Sorry to hear that.
I think it's getting better, but I would have loved a noise meter, because I think we do that. We get used to sound, we normalize it, and it's really bad for your health. It's really bad for children.
Right, so I mean, I can list concerns I have about that event, but I think all of the local events tend to have too many generators.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it is hard to read.
And there was a whole other street that they had closed.
Yeah,
that we
Manhattan
didn't-
Place.
that we didn't use.
But somebody used, right? Did they have it? I didn't even walk over there.
I mainly went into the building to see the dance center.
Right.
Because it's a resource that I'd never really explored, and it was such a beautiful resource. I
Yes,
more kids. 'Cause I have nieces who are dancers and they love dancing, so I'm glad that was there, so.
So when you walked into the building, did you notice, were there vendors
Yes.
on Manhattan Place? On the north-south street?
Well, that was kind of facing the stage, right? So.
The stage was
That's
on,
right.
yeah, the stage was at the intersection of Washington and Manhattan. Yeah, I never got even that far.
Yeah,
Because, yeah,
there weren't a lot of people there, but there were a lot of big balloon type of inflatables. So, I mean, people seemed like they were having fun.
yeah, because I think unfortunately Play Day will be that same way, because they have all these. When you have all these big.
I found myself thinking whether they could have sort of a plexiglass something over the top of a generator. I don't know how much oxygen
Oh,
it
okay.
needs, or whether they would be able to like. But the point is that actually it's of a concern. It's a serious concern that you want people to have fun and a break, but then if you are subjecting yourself to noise and fumes such that your children, your little children who go are having long-term health, damage, that's real. It's not, I think we have to address that. And that's not environmental exactly, that's the
No, it is.
fumes.
Well, and it's environmental.
Yeah.
Well, the only way UNNC can address it is to be sure that when we have events, it's not that way.
Yeah.
I mean, when we're just tabling. We take, it's whatever it is.
Well,
And we-
it is something that I could bring up with NCSA because that's the
Sure.
power of NCSA.
Right.
And then to segue, so I made my comment and I'm glad with that. And the segue into, I attended the NCSA meeting on Sunday at 6 p.m. I think
The
it went from
last one, last.
6 to 8:30. The last one, they have them regularly, and I know we'll talk briefly about them, the next time.
What is NCSA?
That Neighborhood Council Sustainability Alliance. So they would like an sustainability or environmental committee representative from every neighborhood council. There were 4 people on the call.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's
there was
good.
very little. Yeah, so it may be that reason that we weren't very formal. So it was Lisa Hart, Charles Miller, Kathy Schreiner, Terry Saucier, and me. So there were 5 of us. Some of the issues that they brought up included library books. So apparently the library has very, very many discarded books. And the question is what they do with them.
Why are they discarding books?
In my
Everybody's
experience,
reading onto the computer, Kindles.
and yeah, there's Kindle, and then I don't know what they're throwing away, but I know that I've noticed at Washington Irving, there's always the blue bin is full of things.
But they're discarding them and not donating them to literacy nonprofits?
I think that was the question.
It's overwhelming. A lot of
Yeah.
people got rid of books. No one has books anymore. I know all my friends are like, get rid of your books. It's just, that's the attachment people have had to physical books has changed.
Yes, but the literacy foundations that are teaching people to read usually use books to do that. But we could find that out.
And they're going to be reducing screen time for children in the elementary school level. And I think up to high school, actually, but it's like 0 screen time for kindergarten and first grade. And they start out with 20 minutes of screen time. But I retrieved, no exaggeration, 500 pounds of brand new good books from the dumpster today, from the recycling dumpster at my school. Now, the thought of all the
And are you taking it to the Friends of the Library for books?
well,
now?
they're in my library for now. They're stacked up in boxes
In your library at the school.
at the school.
Right.
So I'm gonna find a home for them. That was why I took them. So they were talking about that issue. Now, mine were,
As a place where they take books, sell it.
oh, good. That's LAUSD. And they weren't even talking about LAUSD, they were talking about our public library, which as you say exactly, we're transferring to more digital media.
Yeah, but. I'm
Like, I love
I'm not
literature.
I know
I'm
that's-
a love too.
no, it's not a lot,
Absolutely.
it's something beyond that. If they're transferring to digital, they don't need to empty the shelves. It's the one does not follow
Yes.
the other.
It should,
Because they're not adding to the shelves. So why are they tossing the books? And also, why are they tossing the books instead of?
it's labor intensive to recycle a book because often the cover is plasticized. So you have
Not that kind of recycling. I remember,
reuse.
yeah, I mean, in other words, I was on the board of a writers organization. And we would do a book festival not like they do at USC, but a book festival. That's actually Century City Plaza, it's more open. And basically, our members would donate their used books. We would sell whatever we could as a fundraiser for us. But it was really easy to get a literacy nonprofit to come pick up what wasn't sold. We wouldn't have to take it away. We did not have to store them. Now, there's still illiterate people who need literacy.
Something to use to learn to read, yeah.
Right, so it may be harder to donate books, but it should be an effort. So, I don't know if it makes sense to agendize this, but with the question of, are there still literacy organizations and do they still need books? That would be the question.
Yeah, so some research needs to be done.
Okay, what else?
So library books and LAUSD, it's also, I think, worth asking LAUSD about discarded books. Because I don't think
crazy, hundreds of books in a dumpster.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand it's the last week of the school year,
right?
You're not gonna find the books in the dumpsters every week.
And beanbag chairs, and perfectly new, perfectly fine. And then little Cinnapons that look like the kind you get, it's a little round 2-inch foam pad with covering on it, from the kind that you'd pay $10 a piece from like that
What is this?
I've though been alerted to mold in books, and like sometimes I get a book I want to read something and I will get it from the library and I will be like, I cannot,
your eyes start
I can't read it because the pages, it's been moldy, it's been sitting there, there's like other environmental issues that might.
Yes, of course.
So.
And there is a solution to that too, but I would not ask the library. Well, the library knows the solution. Solution is you freeze dry the books. Which is what they had to do after the fire.
They
downtown
preserved books.
All the books that got wet because the damage to the books wasn't fire.
Yeah.
It was the sprinklers.
Yeah.
So yeah, they developed a whole technology, a couple million books with freeze dried, and then
I have at least 50 cases of books that I not dare to part with, but they're pretty out of date and I doubt anyone will ever read them.
okay.
Right. So this is a big issue.
Sure.
And it's part of the waste issue. So I'm just saying that they talked about library books. They talked about gray water. I'm not sure what the thing was about gray water. They talked about artificial turf. They are maybe waiting on a council file.
Because we've already commented.
Yeah, on the artificial turf.
But you mean it hasn't gone forward?
I think we need to
write a letter asking them to move it forward. There, I'm getting my pen, because I think that's a motion we should make under new business.
Absolutely.
Or old business, because we did do a CIS.
Okay. And I think if my notes are correct, this is a Rec and Parks decision. It's the council file, they're a little unhappy with it. What's the problem with artificial turf?
Oh, bad.
Oh yeah, it's all kinds of,
Well,
it's plastic that degrades into our soil. It is also,
it doesn't degrade enough. It degrades and doesn't.
Okay.
And then it starves any trees or any plants from getting.
Well, I'm glad I never did it.
Yeah, exactly. It overheats. Yeah. So this walking on artificial turf, it's wicked hot in the hot sun.
So this was because we did 2 CISs on artificial turf. And one was probably a land use one, that not allowing it anymore, and the other related to recreation parks when we install it.
That's the
forward.
point. That's the point.
Right.
Is it right now? It's a resolution, not a motion, and it's a Rec and Parks decision. And so
Okay, I will look it up, but
we
I
need to
know.
mobilize.
So we'll come back to that under.
Yeah,
old
and
business.
they seem to like the fact that I said I was an athlete. I have played on both, and I hate to play. I mean, it's like getting rug burns when you fall on artificial turf. They talked about, let's see, they talked about needing a champion on the LA City Council. He mentioned that because I don't remember who they were losing, that had been a real environmental champion on the city council. And who will be the new one? Is the question. I don't know the city council members all that well, I am embarrassed to say, and I don't think it was Curran Price that was the.
I don't even know who,
Would have been that person.
I mean, I think it was Paul Koretz, but he's been gone a while.
And Tom and Bonin, he's been gone a while too, right?
Oh, Tom Bonham for sure has been gone 4 years.
So, but maybe they're just now feeling the lack of it. So that's maybe why they didn't talk about Marta Segura, because they haven't looked to the mayor's office previously for environmental support
And leadership.
and leadership. They asked me about my experience of the election. And that was fun to talk about, but it's not about sustainability particularly. That's it. That's it.
All right. Okay, so I think we might as well just mention, because nobody else is here, this meeting on Sunday being sponsored by the Neighborhood Council Sustainability Alliance is actually a presentation from the sanitation department on its new Sort LA website. And it manages recycling, food by recycling. But I think anybody can attend that.
Great.
See a representative.
Yeah.
And it's on Zoom and it's 6:30 to 8:30 on Sunday, June 14th. I have found that when they do these kind of presentations, this alliance, they're usually really thoughtful and interesting.
It's a good group of people.
Yeah.
When I get on it, I always try to do something mindless, because it's 2 hours on a Sunday. But if I can do something mindless and my mind is free to listen, it's smart people talking about very important things.
Right.
They always talk about trees. Joanne, who is the tree committee person, wasn't there this time, but they always talk about preserving trees.
Well, she's also the CFAC.
What's that?
Joanne.
D'Antonio.
Yeah, well, she does talk a lot. It's the Commission for Urban Forestry. I don't remember what CFAC stands for. But Teresa's on it as well.
okay.
She's a 10th district representative.
Okay.
Joanne is from Studio City, so she's whatever, District 2 or District 4.
Oh, yeah. I
But
can imagine sanitation with all the greens and the vents and the methane and the.
food stuff that nobody's properly putting in. Anyway, it should be a good presentation. I'm sure it should be good.
Okay.
The other thing is that Lisa Hart emailed me, and maybe therefore a lot of people, she doesn't do personally to me. They're trying to have some sort of presentation at Congress of Neighborhoods where people are giving their personal experiences with the recycling sort of things. So,
Okay.
well, okay, but it won't be me. I don't have a great experience.
I know. The fact that we talk about it
Maybe do it. Okay,
doesn't mean that people change.
all right, so
So can I forward an email from Joanne to you that suggests, the tenor of the discussion? Is that something you wanna?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay.
But-
I'm always open to hearing more about people who are the decision makers and that people get things done, so.
Another thing, I know what they were talking about now was related to was water. Now, LA is deciding whether to divert groundwater from northern Los Angeles into South Pasadena
right,
and for, get this, a golf course.
what?
And they're against it. Pasadena is planning to take Los Angeles land, so Pasadena and South Pasadena can take millions of gallons of water annually and in perpetuity from the Arroyo Seco for their own purposes. This will dry up the Arroyo Seco, devastate ecosystems, and decimate a tiny forest in Mila on Northeast LA. It's absolutely outrageous and shameful. This steal of land and water by Pasadena affects all of Los Angeles in its scope and impacts the future restoration of the Arroyo Seco channel for years to come. They're accepting comments, I believe, until July something. I'll forward that to you.
No, I'm like,
I know.
what?
It's like, what?
Our version of what's that movie?
Chinatown.
Chinatown.
Yeah, yeah,
The
yeah.
2026 version of Chinatown.
Yeah.
Yay. All right.
It's, let me see if I have your.
And I finally got the water department to shut off this ongoing, because I live next to a probate property that has waters in it, so. They have broken pipes and basically they're in them, it's in that phase of like. Property in contention, and the only way anything can move is if it becomes a total tear down. And just to get everybody out there, just making it a miserable place. So the water's been running there for months and months and months, and it turns out they have about $40,000 bill. And I kept trying to let them know, like, hey, this water is, and the sad part of it is that we have a bunch of giant trees that are dying because they're not getting enough water. And this has just been flowing into the sewer. And I'm
Into the
like,
sea.
into the sea, and I've been like, and finally they shut it down, and I was like, thank you, you know, thank you. Cause otherwise I was just gonna open the tap on the surface to let the trees get some water.
Yeah.
But as soon as I did that, then. Okay, I turned it on, but they came back,
It's
$40,000, you know, down there, and no one's gonna be able to pay for it.
no one's gonna pay for it.
Yeah.
Unless they take it out of the sale.
Well, they're just gonna to, for the, become city property or something.
So, right, it's, I'm gonna, yeah, and when we get to, new business, old business, I have some, thoughts to share. About how we move forward so that we feel productive. Next, are we gonna go, are we done with? Public comment?
Where did we see?
I think we're doing
Memo?
moving around. Yeah, we were at possible neighborhood.
Okay,
cleanup.
all right, let's go to possible neighborhood.
So
cleanups.
did you had a chance, and probably not because you've been busily canvassing, to go to any of the other local neighborhood cleanups?
Absolutely. I go to the neighborhood cleanups all the time. I went to Mink, so
Mhm.
they meet at Recreation Cafe
Mhm.
on the second Saturday, so they have it monthly. And so that would be, I think, this Saturday or next Saturday, maybe.
Saturday would be this
It
Saturday.
starts at 9:30.
And usually Chris Riddick had, but I haven't seen any emails for her. Usually there's second Saturday in Jefferson Park as well.
Okay.
And there's also WANA, West Adams Neighborhood Association, which is Charles Victor Hall pointing.
Okay.
It's Adams, Normandy, it's not UNNC, Adams,
Oh, okay.
Normandy, Jefferson. Way around Western, so it's right adjacent. So those two. Mink and WANA are not UNNC, but I think the only regular cleanup is the one that in Jefferson Park, like 30th, 29th by Arlington.
Right.
But, I think our open question was, how does Mink do it? Meaning, how do they have permission on a monthly basis to be a co-sponsor of a neighborhood cleanup without having to fill out monthly event requests in the ours from the, so I mean, that's what I want to
So
know.
I
I would
have
say,
to,
find out how UNC, whether it sponsors one or more than one, can we do it without it being an event? And so, okay. And then the other thing I think you're gonna ask. Maybe. I mean. Do we like partnering with the mayor's office and doing
the Shine LA.
Shine LA? Because the mayor's guy came,
The last time I
or
heard.
the mayor's, Alan came to our booth at Donna, right?
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he did, you know him?
I went to the watch party downtown.
Oh, fine, yeah,
And
he
saw
came,
him, he came up to me, hi, nice to see you again, and I was, who are you? He was in
Yeah.
a suit, so maybe.
yeah,
like,
he
oh,
came out to Donna and came by our booth.
He was at the safety, presentation as well.
Oh,
Oh, maybe that's where he came. Yes, he
Is
came
it
Saturday.
Moret or Monet?
Moret.
Yeah, Moeret, yeah.
Yeah, so maybe we should ask him, I mean, if you like Shine. Cause then they do all the work, all we be doing is getting word out and getting people out
Okay.
there, we're not a sponsor.
Okay,
But
absolutely. I like working with Alan. They are very well organized. We get stuff done. If they would be willing to do
The
our
one right-
area,
right.
now that would be Jefferson.
well,
or
right, I mean,
Washington.
what they did the last 2 times, they've done it twice.
Yeah.
But it was, they based themselves at the council office, former council field office
Mhm.
on Western
Mhm.
and did Western. I mean, it wasn't pleasant. You know, it was, I mean, not the cleanup should be pleasant, because it's cleanup.
It should be fun.
Well, it should be. Yeah, I mean, it should be more in a neighborhood. I mean, you know, Western and 18th isn't a
Not like
neighborhood.
they're, you know,
So Jefferson and,
doing time.
right,
Yeah, you're right. There should be something nice. And actually, Shine LA does a nice job because they bring food, drink, and then they offer tabling to some organizations. The last time I went, they had an art table that was because you just had this paint. What's it called? Tempera paint. And kids could take it and make blobs. And then what were they doing with the paint? Then they weren't just making their own painting, although they could do that, but they were painting on a big poster that could then later be put up. So if we want something like that, I would love something like that. We
well,
could present
we're also with Rediscovered.
with Rediscover.
So,
Well, at the last Jefferson Park Watch meeting, several new people showed up and they were talking about all of the trash and all the problems on Western and Jefferson and yeah, they were, and there's I don't know if you know the Cafe 5. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
right there. Oh, yeah, okay, right there.
well, that'd be a
Lot
fun,
of-
that'd be a fine place to do. So.
Yeah, Cafe 5. So if you know that cafe person, I think I met him once, and I don't remember his name, but it's a little bit far on that side for me, but it was like a lot of people over there were very active in terms of doing cleanup, wanting to do cleanup.
Well, yeah, and that's the kind of the neighborhood Kristen's in.
Yes,
And so she's doing, they're doing cleanups, but they're not doing it on Jefferson as far as I know.
Western probably.
No, they're doing it, I think they're doing it within, I'm not sure, so that's why I was like. If I get I mean, usually the email comes a little earlier than this, so I just don't know if they're doing one this Saturday. Because usually there'll be an email or on the Facebook post.
But CD10, Lisa Rivera is very on it with the group. She's very responsive.
Ellie, yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah.
she was gonna have people out there, and you know, I had a situation in front of my house. You know, it took 2 weeks to get all the homelessness stuff off of private property onto the street where it didn't belong. Then that's where it got all picked through, and then they came and finally took the whole bulk, but then there was just litter everywhere, and then Ally had her SWAT team, or her
Yeah,
rather her
there's a-
emergency team. come
There's
in.
an emergency response team at council.
Emergency.
And has it stayed clean since then?
Well, the thing is, everything got put into the green bins, so I was like, well, I hope that the green bins don't end up in the green, but. I don't know.
But nobody has since moved in.
Well, it's just happened just a couple days ago,
Okay.
so it's very recent.
So I'm just saying, I would like UNC to participate in a cleanup, but I would love UNC not to sponsor one unless it's really easy. Because getting approved, you know, from the city clerk is very difficult. And also the sponsors, you know, the question would be, how easy or not easy would it be for UNNC to purchase, you know, the gloves, their stuff? And if we're approved to purchase it, yay, but where do
We
we
have to
keep
store
it?
it.
Yeah, and right now we're sort of in that,
And because I think
Straight.
Mink is sponsored by Recreation Cafe, I think they.
well, that's the
the
question,
resources
how
to
do
that.
they do it?
That's right.
Because I do know Nick, the owner of Recreation Cafe, is the person who started, it. He may have been on the neighborhood council at the time. But he started during COVID. It was like a way to gather your mass and be outside and.
Well, oh gosh, so then my to-do list then is to go to Nick and talk to him about how they did it.
How they do it and how,
Call.
and maybe talk to whoever the main treasurer is. I don't know who that
Okay.
is.
Okay,
Might be, I mean, in other words, there's a lot of homework. Are you going to Kansas this summer? Or are you gonna be
in
here?
July sometime.
Oh.
I'm talking
here for a little while.
Yeah, talk to Nick and the main treasurer, talk to Alan. Right?
Yeah, and see if, you know, what, how do
yeah.
we get, I mean, do we have to do it through CD10 or do we do it through him?
Right.
Don't wanna step
Well,
on
the
anyone's toes.
Right, the last time I heard was that there was a line.
I'm sure there's one.
Yeah, so that we have to get in line, because other neighborhood councils want to shine up. But,
Right, and what are their criteria? I mean,
Right.
does it have to be a busy street, or can it be the heart of a neighborhood? I mean,
it turns out, the first one I went to was in Baldwin Hill, the Baldwin Hills Crenshaw Mall. And it was down King Boulevard, behind the mall, sort of, or west of the
yeah,
mall.
center was.
And, yeah, and we cleaned a parking lot. Question was like, we cleaned this parking lot. Well, now, or 2 weeks ago, it was covered with like flatbeds with equipment on them. And it was weird. You just go, try to look at it. I should have taken a picture.
Since
But
the
so-
CRA own lots. City owns some lots back
Okay.
there.
Okay. Well, it was along King Boulevard, west of Crenshaw, so not in our district, but they had torn down a bunch of buildings there. The people that I talked to were very,
Yeah.
very sad about.
Post and B. They tore down Post and B. The rest, yes.
Before they,
No, I'm not, for a project. I mean, it's
okay, yeah.
tore down a lot of buildings, including like one of the best restaurants.
Well, it's empty lot now, but now there were like one after another.
Sandra is here.
Oh my gosh.
Which Sandra? I don't know.
Oh, Sandra Paul says she's enjoying.
Oh,
No, it's
That's
a
the
library.
library.
Hello, Sandra, but we don't know which Sandra this is.
Hi, Laura. This is Sandra Paul. I'm sorry. I just got home. I
Oh, that's-
apologize for
that's
coming.
all right. No,
Hi,
we see a
Sandra.
picture of a
Hi.
library. It's like.
I know. I need to change my background. Give me a minute.
which library is that?
Somewhere in New York. I can't remember. I think it's a beautiful library, though. I love books. So let me get busy. I'm sorry to interrupt your meeting.
No,
Is that
that's-
Elizabeth?
Yeah.
Hey, son. How are you?
We were
Yeah,
just,
she was our treasurer when you were first on the board.
Sandra, we were just talking about the meeting and how people had mentioned all the cleanup that they needed to do over on Jefferson by that Cafe 5. All the people showed up, Sandy, and they were talking about that, all of that.
Oh, Sandy Zalligan.
Oh, probably. Yeah, I don't know. I
Yeah.
wasn't part of that conversation.
No, at the last Jefferson.
Yeah,
Park one.
but honestly, right off the top, I don't remember it. So I'm sorry.
So what we're talking about is how can UNNC, technically, how can we sponsor or participate in a bigger, community cleanup without,
Oh,
without
and
all the trouble it takes to, with the city clerk funding team to sponsor an event? How can we do a cleanup without it being called an event?
got you. I
Yeah.
know that the school that we're actually having our meetings, they want to participate if we do get into setting something up like that.
Oh. It's Sana.
Which school?
Uh,
It's Sonic School?
Yeah,
Oh.
they want to have the kids participate. We've done that in the past. When I was on UNNC board, we were able to get them to participate, and the children got an opportunity to, do something in the community. So it was a really important part of their experience.
Okay.
Yeah, because there was one cleanup that, again, was centered at the former CD10 field office on Western and 18. And Amazing Grace Conservatory participated in that and brought all their kids out. Now, were the kids effective?
Yeah.
Generally,
Not so much. 'Cause
not
they
so
would hold
much,
each other's
but
hands,
it's
but
a
it was
good,
good.
Yeah, it's a good experience for them to at least be involved in doing something for the community.
Right.
Mhm.
Give a hoot, don't pollute.
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was so formative for me. Woodsy Gal and those things.
Right, I mean, you know. We've tried here in West Adams to bring up generations of kids who do volunteer. You know, you asked what's West Adams Heritage, but we used to do lots of tours things. And you used to go, but we would have all of the kids who were the kids and well, your kids would be forced to volunteer.
Yeah, yeah. Well, was it called voluntold?
Voluntold.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but it gives them some essence of what community involvement is. Even if they only pick up a trash bag and walk down the street talking and eating a donut, they get involved and it sets the precedence for them to be, actively engaged. And sometimes they come back and they want to keep doing it. So we got to create the environment for them, whatever it looks like. It may not be perfect, but you got to expose them.
So is that section of Jefferson, and you can answer this too, in need of a cleanup or even regular cleanups?
Yeah, I think it would be beneficial. I know that we talked with the Hirsch Pipe Supply Company that's on Jefferson. They actually went back to their corporate office and got approval to clean up in front of their building with cleaning, but because it was a lot of debris. But every area needs cleaning generally. I mean, um, I I think that even if it isn't quite as extensive as some of the avenues have been, there's still an opportunity for the community to come out, for businesses to get engaged, and you start to create an environment of conversation.
So
Absolutely. It
So
sounds yeah.
I'm thinking if, I know we've got a big homework list for you, so maybe we can start dividing afterwards. But maybe I have the contact information for the principal at Asana. Maybe you could reach out to them and see, and what realistically would Asana, since it's a charter, it's not a private school, right? Or is
It's a
it?
charter school. It's a charter school.
Are they able to get their kids out on a Saturday?
Yeah, they were before, and they were a charter school.
Okay.
And it would be great for it to like network with Sixth Avenue, come together, coming down, going east on Jefferson and coming west on Jefferson. The two could combine. So if it were from Arlington to Crenshaw, it would be a great thing to have.
So
With Sixth Avenue Elementary.
it would be a little hard, yeah, that's a public school, so it might be a little harder to get them out on a Saturday, but a charter school has more better communication with parents. And
Well,
more,
I'm sure it would be worthwhile, even if maybe with the library too,
So this is making me think also of some kind of annual festival on Jefferson where they close Jefferson. Is there such a thing?
well, there is
So
not,
They don't close Jefferson entirely for anything?
not
Not on a regular basis. No, the last time that they closed Jefferson was when Heather Hutt implemented the New Orleans corridor.
and we had Ciclavia as well.
Well, yeah, Ciclavia, but that goes, the entire.
It wasn't closed, it was more like opened.
Well, close to vehicles.
Yeah, totally.
Right.
Yeah. So,
It would just occur to me that if we could time ours with another event, then we could clean up before the event or clean up after the
yeah,
event.
they don't have
They don't do
regular
this.
events, yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, we need to be looking at models, because I do know also that the Pico Boulevard BID which is called the Byzantine Latino District. Byzantine Latino Quarter, BLQ, BID, but they've had community cleanups with the businesses along Pico.
Okay.
So, but how do they do it? I mean, in other words, is this a big, complicated thing, or is it really as simple as having gloves, trash bags, and pickers? And instructions not to pick up sharp things, so you don't get cut. You know, I mean, that's the question, is like, how do we do it?
Yeah.
How can we do it, or can we do it?
And the
Versus
other thing
us
is- yeah.
piggybacking in on somebody else's.
Another element of that is, do we need it as much as other areas do?
Now we don't care about other areas.
No, what I mean is.
I mean, I don't-
when I joined the one with, oh gosh, I
There's-
always forget, but it's the one we were at 54th and Broadway.
Oh.
And that needed it, it
Right.
really did need it, and then we did one with. I did one with Voices, or anyway, there are areas that do tend to grow trash more than we do. I would say, or do we?
Yeah,
Do we
but-
have a need along on Jefferson?
Well, we do, and I'm saying, I think Voices Neighborhood Council area does.
Mhm.
I think Broadway Manchester, I was just down in that area this week, certainly does. But I don't think that means we shouldn't attempt to do our own.
Yeah. Okay, yeah,
So this might seem like a bit of it's a little off the trash cleanup, but it's kind of anyway, I'm gonna throw it out there if I have a few moments.
yeah.
But I was just, as I was driving around and I'm thinking about the trees, I was thinking about watering the trees, and that being a maybe instead of a trash pickup, like
Yeah.
everybody come and bring a gallon of water,
Yeah.
give a tree some water, because
Yeah.
all the trees look so,
I'll give a
Yeah.
tree a drink.
yeah, give a tree a drink, or having some sort of like a wrap around trees that look like they're really sick and saying,
Yeah.
please, like, you know, like water me or something that has
I
a vibe.
like that.
Water me, like, or please, like, make a wish and water me, like,
Well-
or give me like, you know, some sort of.
Well, you
like-
are saying something a little bit magic.
I know.
No, magic.
Oh,
Which is, conceivably, we could have our UNNC partners kind of clean up, include cleaning, weeding
yes.
the tree well and
And
pouring the
watering.
water, well, because, you know, loosening the dirt, I mean, that could be
Loosening
a
soil.
part of a,
Or mulching,
yeah,
Yeah,
but that could be
mulching.
a part of a cleanup.
like the.
Yes, yes,
Yes.
I remember, at least my memory recollection goes back to Mari, what was his name? Marius,
Yeah.
and you, Elizabeth, were the tree,
Yeah.
Yeah.
watering group.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you look, I love the idea that Son brought up about the pink tulip trees or whatever
Yeah.
they are. I'm
Yeah,
not,
we
I'm
have
not
a-
a botanist, but I think that would be a wonderful thing to do at some point. But I knew that we had made an effort years ago to get those trees planted, and unfortunately, they weren't well kept up. People just didn't. And I don't know if UNNC couldn't, or what the requirements were or how it all played out. But if we can come up with a drought tolerant solution with beautiful flowers at some point during the year, I think it would enhance Jefferson.
Yeah.
So we are digressing. Are you here for enough time that we can actually do the agenda and then get to that? Because it was
Oh,
gonna come. during-
absolutely. I apologize again for coming
Oh.
late.
So I think, so the possible neighborhood cleanup, I certainly have enough to work on
Okay,
there. And then, so we covered number 4, SEMO transition.
well, we haven't covered
We
that. So
haven't.
we just do this real quick. And real quick, because honestly, I'm just, I left the flash drive at home, so we're it's hard to share the screen. But on number 4, the SEMO transition, SEMO is the Climate Emergency Mobilization Office. And it was kind of cut in half with budget cuts anyway, moved over to another section, moved into the emergency management section of the city, and now the head of it was fired. Recently removed. There's some discussion that the mayor will be appointing somebody else. But in the meantime, usually around now is when they start providing the heat alerts, the lists of this year's coolings, location. And it's like, is that even gonna happen? So it's really, this agenda item is just really a alarming question, not an answer. So I'm gonna look into that because I like to be able to share with our stakeholders where are the cooling spots
Very important.
during heat waves,
Very important.
you know, and they haven't published it. So I will take on the follow-up to this question. And then in the meantime, does it affect the mayor's newly released climate action plan? I don't know, but I did the link on the agenda. So you can go, if you're interested in what the climate plan says, that's in our,
Yeah,
it's in our box.
I saw that.
You can do it, and then, let's see.
The one thing, I wasn't able to make the emergency preparedness event last Saturday.
We didn't talk about climate change.
But the point is
Well,
that
somebody
more
brought it up.
people died from heat stroke, more people.
Somebody
died
brought
from
it
heat
up, the
waves.
guy that was CERT. The only
did
person
you?
who was CERT, he brought up the heat because he's elderly and he was saying a lot of people need that cooling station.
They
And
more die from heat more than they do from any other natural disaster. And so
Right.
the other thing I've heard about that is that from neighborhood to neighborhood, you simply need to know who your neighbors are, who's elderly, who's not getting the care they need, because sometimes the effect of heat is we just say, oh, I'm going to sit still. It'll pass, or I'm just gonna rest, it makes me tired. You know, and you don't know that you're actually in danger,
Right.
especially if nobody's looking in on you. So this is where our neighborhoods really need to get active.
So what I just shared, sorry, is also in our agenda packet. It's a page out of the climate plan that shows us all the other climate plans that mostly nothing has happened. So I thought that was interesting. I mean, it's unfortunate, nothing, but like the mobility plan definitely was adopted. And it's supposed to be fully implemented by 2035. That's the one that I keep referencing, Sandra.
Yeah,
It'll take away some of the parking on Jefferson, sorry. But the point is, you know, you look at this, there was a green plan in 2007, there was a sustainable city plan in 2015, resilient LA in 2018. I mean, blah, 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 the LA Green
the
New Deal.
mobility plan, you're saying it's done, it's actually.
It's adopted.
Okay, so what's gonna happen with that in terms of like, I thought it was just a hub, but it's actually.
No, the citywide mobility and transportation element for city planning. So it's an element of the general plan for the city for zoning and planning, was adopted in 2016. And it's huge, it's thousands some pages, but it includes a plan for almost every art corridor. You know, is it gonna be widened, smaller, is it gonna
so
have bypass?
For the metro area, Jefferson and Crenshaw, you said that was.
It's not just that, I mean, Jefferson Boulevard has a plan,
Okay,
and then there's also an alternative bike plan, also, you know, also for off Jefferson.
where's the plan though? Where can we get access to that plan?
How I found a copy, yeah, it's 1,000 or 2,000 pages, and it's too
I would love to
digitally.
read that.
Yeah, I know, I'm just saying, it's too big for
I
me to
can read it.
share. And how I found it again recently was Dr. Google. I just,
Yes.
I just Googled Los Angeles mobility
mobility plan.
and transportation.
So it's not
Element.
any of the agenda items that we've had.
No, I've never uploaded it because I wouldn't be able, I can download it, but not upload it.
Yeah, it's really huge, but you can, son, you can check with Caesar. I think he had a copy that he sent out and he may be able to give.
Yeah, he did just the snapshot that I had
Oh.
given Jefferson.
Okay, as long as it was in the UNNC record, because then I've been through those.
I don't think you're gonna find the whole thing. You're gonna have to get it off the city planning website.
He didn't include it in the.
He could not possibly have.
It's huge.
No,
It's
just,
huge.
just our relevant area.
He might have included that in something.
Okay,
And he certainly will include, in other words, when he actually kicks off our revived mobility and transportation subcommittee,
yes.
which is not gonna be this month, as it turns out, so that will certainly make sure that the mobility plan for our whole area.
Okay.
I can probably get that down to a manageable size to share, because it's probably only 50 pages, just saying, of the
Yeah.
whole, but.
But
you
if
know,
we don't,
it's
there's a
interesting.
problem with, to me, I don't mean to be critical, but what will happen
With that
plan?
I can answer the
Just a
question.
I'm just saying, there can be changes and there must be changes.
There will
to-
not be. It's,
Well, then it will, in this case,
Can I just
it,
answer your question?
Yeah.
The voters voted about 2 years ago, because it hasn't been being implemented, that going forward, and this was voted on, whenever a street has any sort of major infrastructure repairs, sewer or anything like that, automatically the mobility plan is triggered and they have to implement it.
because they're already working on it, they might as well do something,
Well, because it's a waste of taxpayer money to tear up the street,
right? And
put it
not-
back together,
Right.
and then tear it up again in 5 years or whenever
Okay.
Streets LA gets around to it. So one
Okay.
thing that's happened.
So the plan will supersede any mayor.
Mhm.
Because it
Yeah,
follows
it's not
along.
it's not,
not-
unlike this thing I've got posted that seems to be mostly from different mayors, including the Mayor Bass climate plan,
Mobilization, right?
right? All of which will change when there's another mayor, which, yeah, the mobility element is mandatory, required by the state of California. So the only time it will change is if they do it again, but it takes years to do these big elements. So they're not gonna do it again anytime soon, because they're working on the open space element. They've gotta do the general plan framework again, so it's just a matter of money, staff. And so this one's not gonna get hit again, it was just 2016. I know that sounds like a long time ago, but noting that the open space plan was done in 1973, and they're just now getting around to the update. I'm gonna stop the share. So we have to be realistic, and realistically, it's not the most important component of our climate emergency.
Right.
But one component of the mobility plan is the multimodalities concept for pedestrians, bicycles, scooters, skateboards. In other words, that thing. So that is an environmental thing, but the transportation plan isn't just that. It also talks about widths of streets and speed limits, all the other stuff that would be in it, so. Anyway,
Thank you for the,
new business, new business,
all right.
you've done yours. So I wanna send in your idea, you've shared it with a lot of people, and I know she's the chair, and I'm just mom at the moment. We have to be really
Wait a
careful.
second, let's,
Sandra's on the email.
okay, so let's start this. So we're now addressing the
proposal,
email,
yeah,
the
for-
proposal, right, for,
To ask.
for pink trumpet trees along.
Well, the
Could there
project
be
on Jefferson.
Project on Jefferson.
Right,
including-
so what I wanna say is we need to, because we are a city of LA entity, we need to be really careful. Not to create serial meetings under the definition on the Brown Act. So we need to be having our discussions like we are now in public, and it should be on an agenda.
Well, you
And
were
it shouldn't
sharing
be
a video.
sharing
It bumps up against some Brown Act. Right.
because there were too many board members on the emails.
Oh, okay.
So now that Caesar's responding and I'm seeing the response, so we just need to be careful. You're not subject to the Brown Act. You can do whatever you want
Here's the-
as Cassandra.
Yay!
But I want to be sure that we kind of handle, because this is a major proposal. Just want to make sure we
It's not a
handle.
major proposal, it's a very, it is, okay, I didn't think. it was
No, you're
pretty-
fine, you're fine. I guess want to say that many people have died on this hill. I'm telling you, you think it's Marius and I biked up and down, this is 10
You're
years ago.
saying
now.
Jefferson.
Jefferson, biked up and down Jefferson. We mapped it. That guy, Dan Cagle helped make a whole map of the area where we were looking at all the whole,
I
you know, all
probably
the
still
whole-
have that in our Google Drive.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. And we took photos of all the tree things. And
Okay.
so all this effort, photos and plans and spreadsheets, and it just walks up
And you
into
want to
the
tell
air.
her why?
Well, there's always a reason
Why?
why something's more difficult than it seems.
No, well, why we didn't,
Why we did
that project,
plan, the plan.
you
I
don't remember? Right, so here's the reason. You'll know these people, Dolores Spears, Helen. Whatever her last name was, Lizzie Morsato on 31st Street. Applied to Lonnie for a grant to do the Jefferson Boulevard Greenbelt project. And they actually were awarded a grant that they never received, just for clarity, to plant 25 trees on Jefferson Boulevard, and that was from Western to Crenshaw. And they initially contracted with KYCC and asked UNNC, you know, we did a NPG, a grant, started the process, you have a grant for that project that was more than matching the KYC, the Lonnie grant. And KYCC then engaged urban forestry and they surveyed in their inimitable way Jefferson Boulevard to see if they could plant trees. They were told they could not. So in other words, the methodology that KYCC was acquiring the trees,
I think that they just didn't find enough.
they did not find 25 places that would be approvable to plant trees.
There was a
And so-
stump in it.
Yeah, there were so many.
If the curb is broken, they have to get the curb fixed first, and it's not them that does it.
Right, it was just a lot of reasons, so then KYCC wanted to do other streets, and of course the gals on 31st Street didn't wanna.
Don't I use their grant to.
For other streets in Jefferson, so KYCC was out of that picture and moved its project, cause it already was gonna accept money from UNNC up to Washington Boulevard, so that's why UNNC is still engaged on Washington.
Oh,
'Cause
thank you for
big
that.
money there. But then the 31st Street people found another entity, Cal Greenworks. And they felt they could plant 25 trees. We ended up not thinking. We knew they had the trees to plant. They had a huge grant to plant 1,000 trees in South LA.
Wow.
So we knew they had the trees to plant, but they didn't feel, we didn't trust that they would be able to do the maintenance. They could plant but not maintain. So we end up also giving a grant to, they planted 25 trees, and that was in the year 2022, I believe.
We have to go visit them. Those trees.
And they were the box, Brisbane box,
Okay.
something.
They
They planted those trees. Teresa is here. She's gonna tell me I'm saying it wrong. But, yeah, they planted the trees. We gave money to another entity. And I don't know what happened after that. I don't know if there was water maintenance. I don't know if the trees are living. It wasn't that long ago, but that doesn't mean they survived. And, but I think the homework on your proposal would also be to see, are they alive or dead? I mean, whoever's doing, it, you know, are they alive or dead? Are there spaces to plant other trees? And Teresa's here, I'm sure she'll have would have other technical observations, but I think the outreach you've been doing is really great. Because if the business community is embracing the planting of trees, that's an important step, because a lot of times the business community doesn't want it to hide their signage. They
There's
don't
a
want
lot
to
of
clean the
stump.
sidewalk.
There's a lot of stumps. So I would love to see what you mapped before to do before, see what that project looks like. So I've been going out there just taking photographs and I have my map.
Great.
I've been putting it on my map,
Mhm.
just,
Right, and
Yeah.
I did take a look in a quick look, because I've been very busy this week, in the officers Google Drive, so that's not, I can explore a little better
right.
than your, members of the public are, but I found a map of the trees were being proposed to plant, but it's such a small file, I can't tell exactly what they are. I couldn't even tell if they're on the north side or the south side.
I don't know if that
Okay.
history matters or not, but moving forward, but it definitely, it's the buy-in. And but I wanted to know technically if it was possible, so I was just kind of waiting because I didn't go out to even measure it because I was like, oh, I should measure the well, and at least do that. So
Yeah.
because I think that they have like specific measurements and specific, the urban forestry people would
Right,
definitely have
so-
a lot more.
Right, and so
But
I
it
know
was just
that,
kind of a, if something was gonna go in there, we just wanna like have the preference of having this one as a marketing effort as well.
well, it's a brand
branding,
tree.
something that
Mhm.
makes people excited. And then I thought, I know that I didn't go further down past 10th or that metro area because but then I knew that the New Orleans, corridor idea was still out there, and I was like, wouldn't it be amazing to have a Mardi Gras parade with, pink trumpets and like, swan costumes and just get everybody like excited about that spring event.
That's great. The arch course, the archway or partial arch at Arlington, I think it's at and
Yes.
and Jefferson.
No, I think it's at Western.
It's at West.
So Western.
Western and Jefferson.
It's lovely. It's absolutely lovely. And that took a lot of effort and we had a lot of intentionality with those arches. And I'm wondering if some carefully planted trees would
There are
help.
trees there.
There are trees.
So I'm not going for the ones that are there. I think the ones that are there, I think that it would also bring more attention to like, hey, look, there's a lot of dying trees as well. And I think that some of the shopkeepers are doing it intentionally. Like, that's why I put that in the article, is that some people do intentionally kill trees. So I was like, okay, well, I met one who was like, nope, I don't want one. And I said, are you opposed to anybody else having it? Like maybe across the street where it won't block anyone's. And she was like, no, that's fine. So I was like, as long as I can get that, it's fine. And then maybe it might grow, because I think the building owner was like, that person doesn't even get street traffic customers. It's just, she was opposed to the stickiness of flowers and bugs and I don't want to, like impose anything on anybody else who's just like adamant. I just don't want them to be, anti, don't do what to, for the rest of us. But, getting everyone just talking about it, thinking about it. And then I was thinking, yeah, there's so many that are just, not doing well. And like just having a banner saying, just like with some information about, please water me, or like
That might actually be a starting point, if there was like a sign that could be put in each well, please water me, something to get us engaged if we can't plant new trees. Because at this point, I realize, lovely ideas don't always get implemented because there's a lot of bureaucracy around getting them implemented. But if we have trees, maybe just the essence of something simple as that sign, please water me, or I don't know, but I just know that Jefferson is really a powerful corridor. We know how businesses from the west side, from La Brea, have moved, I don't know, what area is that? Like Third and La Brea, there's what is that business? They recently moved in near the SPCA. and coffee companies and restaurants are moving into the area. Places
yeah.
that you would normally think would be in Culver City are generating business coming east on Jefferson. So, I mean, it's got potential, but it's like a hidden gem, and because it's not as beautified as it could be, like it originally was, anything that we can do to help inspire businesses to come into the community will increase the revenue for those businesses, opportunities for the residents, and to go to coffee shops and restaurants. It's just it's a hidden market. And you look at South LA Cafe down the street, and it's like, why can't we just gather all of that and create the environment for these businesses to see us as something sustainable? And if a tree does it or a flowering bush does it, then let's try to get something going. But
And Sandra, have you seen the area on Jefferson, east of Western? That's like, I think that's another council district.
Right.
But that whole area is just getting new lights, it's getting beautiful magnolias. I mean, I think the magnolia trees were there, but it just pops. And then as soon as it gets to the border, past Western, where the arch is to Jefferson Park, it's just dead trees.
I hear you. I don't know if that's because USC is maneuvering its way to create a better environment for the students that are living in the housing there, or what, but
Yeah, no, this was a project called Jefferson Beautiful. It's led by Richard Parks, same guy who's led the charge to essentially purchase the oil field and to make it into housing in a park. I mean,
And
he
a
didn't.
garden, I think a
Yeah.
fruit garden.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
But I mean, you probably know him better as one of the people going after, closing down the oil fields. But he headed that project. It's 10 years, $10 million. The funding came a little from USC, a little bit from when the space shuttle was brought into.
into the park.
But they had to take trees out, so a big fund was created
Okay.
to replace those, replace more trees than they took out. So, but it was it is a $10 million project. And
Okay.
yeah, so no, I mean, it's a great project, but that's the things, Sandra, that I've been concerned about, because once it actually opens, you've got all these bicyclists dumped at Western with
nowhere to go, nowhere safely to go. I get it.
Exactly.
I get it. I totally get it. And I mean, selfishly,
Yeah.
I see Jefferson Park as the middle child. You hear all of these wonderful things happening and developments happening at Lamert Park. You hear wonderful things about West Adams, but we're the in-between child that got forgotten. And there is opportunity here, and we just want to highlight it. And if beautification will help create businesses and the services that the community really values and wants, then however we can do it, as long as we're staying within the policy.
There's apparently these bags that get put on the trees with slow drip water thing.
Are they effective?
I don't know if they're, I saw one on Olympic at Fairfax, and I was like, I wonder if that's what that is.
So it doesn't
But
run off,
I'll probably look into that and see if that could be branded even, if that could be branded as sponsored by or something,
Right, so obviously this conversation overlaps a bunch of UNNC efforts and committees, because we have a committee now for economic development, right?
Right.
And that's about revitalizing our business corridors.
Yes.
I mean, in the broadest of terms.
Right.
We have a standalone tree committee.
Yes.
That was spun off of
And the inspiration, by the way, Teresa was the inspiration because like, I mean, going to that event of planting all those trees, I was just like, wow, you guys are getting things done. You know, I'm like, wow.
Well, that's Teresa's.
I know,
credit.
that's, yeah. So I was like,
Yeah.
I have an apple tree in my backyard now for that event. So
Right.
I'm like really excited about that.
Right, and then obviously, as Sandra remembered from years ago on the board, Elizabeth and Marius were just tree after tree, you know, tree and watering.
Yeah,
They used to go out with water in their
Yeah.
red wagons.
Yeah.
You know, and take water out to trees, so we were younger then,
Yeah.
we were less busy. She had 2 sons, she could make help.
No, I mean, I like the idea, and I've been writing down here that Jefferson Park just feels like a perfect restaurant boutique avenue. Like different in spirit or different in tone than Larchmont. Different, but similar in some ways, in that it's a walkable place, the kind of place that you would have a farmer's market on a day. Yeah, then there's Lamert Park, that has a different flavor to it, but it's also, that's vibrant. I know that there seems to be trying to do something similar on West Adams, west of Crenshaw, you know, with all this, that's gonna have its own nature because of all those new apartment buildings. And so I was in Culver City, this is not about sustainability, but or environment, but I was in Culver City and they had a meet and greet for new entrepreneurs. They just used the Veterans Hall.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I was there, and it's simply the talk about, oh, what's your
And who
business? What's my
sponsored that?
business? Who did?
And what a great venue, I know that venue really well.
Yeah, and there were, I could find out, but there was a panel of people who had struggled with their businesses, but ultimately made them successful, and they were talking about the principles and what they did, you know, to get it forward. And I kept thinking, why don't we do that here? Why don't we have that here? Because that energy and the talk, it just makes you want to go out and try things.
Sandra, what
Yeah.
about, do you know anything about the Alley Banquet property and the owner?
I don't, I just recall Elisa mentioning that property was sold, but I don't know that for a fact.
Well, you know, they used to raise little baby goats there for.
Yeah, he did,
food.
which
It wasn't for their cuteness.
I saw him using them to
Yeah.
eat,
Yes.
grasses and
Oh, you
different
saw them
residents.
grazing? No,
Yeah.
they slaughtered them for food.
Oh, I don't want to know about that part. But
Yeah.
I don't know for a fact if that property was sold, but I want to recall a month ago that Alyssa mentioned something about it being sold. So
Oh.
I don't know if it has been and what the development will be, but I mean, ultimately we see all of these, multi-family developments happening all on Crenshaw. I wouldn't be surprised it coming down Jefferson.
Well,
But-
we've got
but
some
to-
pending, actually.
Yeah, but to Elizabeth's point, it is designed in such a way that it would have that old feeling like Larchmont Village, where you could have a boutique. I mean, Sharon has her share club there, but that's one off. There's so many options. There's so many businesses. Letty has her real estate business there, and that seems to be thriving. The credit union, the Japanese credit union, seems to be okay, and they're starting to get engaged with the community as of our last meeting. So,
Yes.
I mean, and we have, the senior center right there at the Katsu building. I mean, we have a lot of options that could happen if we got people to be inspired to invest in it,
I just had an idea that if we do a neighborhood cleanup along Jefferson, we could offer to wash the windows of businesses
Yeah. As a part of.
our sprucing. Just and it would be pretty easy to get the
You know, what'd be interesting is if we don't call it a cleanup, if we call it a spruce up.
A spruce up.
Oh, I like that.
Well, she
Yeah.
just said,
Yeah, yeah,
because it sounds
And
more
then-
fun, doesn't it?
it does. And I
And
mean,
then-
Yeah, the water meet signs for the trees that we could make. When I went canvassing, there was one particular house where it was like in any other house that I'd ever seen, but the windows were sparklingly clean. And it made me think what a different house it looked like because the windows were sparklingly clean. And so if we were to offer to businesses, we'd like to clean your windows for you, I don't think anybody would say no.
But you mean as part of the.
As part of our event.
spruce up event. Yeah,
Our
I like
stuff.
that.
Okay.
I like that. I like that.
So. Fiscal year 26, 27. Oh, it starts in July,
Yes, it does.
but I can bring it up at executive to see how, does it float anybody else's boat in the officers echelon?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in
So,
the meantime, yeah, I'm gonna continue with
Yeah.
getting more businesses, meeting more of the current owners, because the ownership has changed. And, yeah, getting more people involved, like the bank,
well,
like
what, have you talked to Nick Hadim? Because doesn't he own some of the
I emailed
buildings?
him.
He
I emailed
does
him.
own some of these buildings, a lot of these buildings around here.
Yeah,
Well, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a picture of his building with the AI generated pink trumpet tree right in front of it and send it to him and say, look at how beautiful, you can rent it out immediately. Cause that black building, it's solid black
well,
and that pink would just pop. And I was like,
does
oh,
he have tree wells that are just?
I think so, I think.
He
there are.
does have,
But he also has
probably
the-
a couple, yeah, probably.
He also would have the money maybe to do the concrete cuts.
Oh,
Yeah, maybe so, maybe so. I mean, when the pot garden moved in, I was shocked. When they have an event, it's packed.
Yeah.
It's packed. So it's
I've been to one.
so there's the capacity for this to occur. It really is. And all it is going to do is revitalize the area and make it much more attractive to businesses to come in and see us as a viable location. We never were successful with getting Trader Joe's in at the 99-cent depot spot
Oh.
there. But maybe at some point, with all of this new construction happening, with the Burger Palace going away eventually, you see South LA Cafe working, you see Pot Garden working. Nick Hayden redid, remodeled all of the buildings where Saki was, all the way to where just before Tox Nursery was. All of those buildings are beautiful. So it is an opportunity.
And I'm excited about the new committee, the Committee for Economic Development.
Yeah,
Yeah, and or the newly revitalizing.
right.
So
So,
I'd love to work together.
right.
We're winding up.
We
I think
have to
we're
wind
gonna
up, like,
be done here for an hour and a half.
Teresa, did you have anything to add to any of this? You're here, really?
No, I don't.
Okay, thank you. So again, we're gonna need to try and have these on agendas
okay.
rather than,
How does
Just
that
on-
happen? How does that happen? I mean, that's what
Well, we're gonna-
someone would tell me, because I was like, what is?
well,
this?
I'm gonna bring it. I don't know. Can I just
Oh, of
say
course,
which
yeah,
committee should grab it?
Yeah.
Probably, since it's bigger than planting some pink trees.
Oh, yeah,
It sounds like it's economic development committee.
yeah, that's where I
Yeah.
started.
So, but that doesn't mean we can't all collaborate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
So-
But I have to make sure Robbie, the chair, says, yeah, let's bring it to me, because if she says, oh, I've got 5 other ideas, that's why I wanted to be the committee chair. Then we're gonna see, maybe it's this committee, who knows,
Yeah.
but Elizabeth's really focused on cleanups now.
Well, and so the point I was gonna try to make before we finish is that I want to be able to have something on the scoreboard, you know? I want to be able to say, we did this.
This
And
committee did this.
This committee, yes, this committee did this. I can point at something and say, we did that.
Well, you
And
might
two
want
also-
to have spruce up day.
I want spruce up day on the calendar, exactly, at least that's something, and then we can, you know, that's something. So phone calls, I don't consider anything, like they're leading up, conversations I don't, even agenda items, it's not what I want. And what I'll do is I'll put my gloves on and I go out and clean up trash. All my neighbors have seen me do it, and lots of people, you know, slow their cars down and say thank you, or they see me. And I love that. I think we're all hungry for community, which is one of the reasons why we're here tonight, which is absolutely fantastic. We want progress, we want meaningful change, and we want community. So I look to all of you for like, just for that connection, because we have I see your hand, Teresa, that connection, because we have the neighborhood council meeting on the first Thursday, and then we have this meeting now, yay, on the second committee, on the second weekend. I'd like connection the fourth week of the month.
And we have recreation parks and or trees.
Right,
The
but,
fourth Monday.
and I'd like to be able to point to something and say that tree got a little spruced up this month. This other tree that our neighborhood incrementally got better and better. So, Teresa, you go.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Last year, CD10 did a cleanup on Washington Boulevard in conjunction with the sanitation department. They provided gloves and rakes and brooms and bags, and the sanitation department came by and collected all the bags. So I think that, and it was very successful. It might be something you might want to, you know, talk to Ali Rivera about, because they'll provide the brooms and the rakes and and the gloves and the accoutrement that is necessary when doing actual cleanup.
Right. No, Teresa's absolutely right. I've done several cleanups prior to COVID with Albert Lord. And he would coordinate with all of the city departments to have the trucks come through, pick up all of provide the shovels, the rakes, whatever, gloves, like Teresa mentioned. And COVID threw a wrench in a lot of things. So, yeah, we just need to revitalize it. We need to resuscitate it.
Right. Well, and I have to say, I've got photos from the mid-80s. That's a long time ago. We used to have here in West Adams broadly, we wouldn't call it this anymore, Tom Sawyer days. Yeah, no, I mean, it was not just trash pickup, it was paint out graffiti, because the city wasn't as good as it is now with that. I mean, it was, you know, Tom Sawyer days. Probably didn't wash anybody's windows, but you know, we could. But I think Spruce Up Day is a better name than Tom Sawyer Day, although everyone would know what Tom Sawyer Day is.
Spruce Up Day is a very environmental.
Yeah, no, I'm saying people would know what Tom Sawyer Day is. It's just that, you know, there's other issues with Tom Sawyer and yeah, I'm just saying.
Yeah,
So
no, you're right. I get it. Yeah.
But the implication, I think, had to do with Tom whitewashing the fence and getting everybody else to do the work. But that was what it was about, for the other people out. So, but I have these photos from when we were all, so many of us were young, and they had little children were helping. You know, it was kind of great cleaning up empty lots.
And yeah.
You know, today no one would let their little kid go into an empty lot. All right.
Well, thank you for being here. Thanks for your participation and great ideas.
Thank you.
Great. See you next month, if not sooner.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.